friends, welcome to StudyIQ. This is Gaurav, and today we are joined by Mr. Aman Wadud, who is a lawyer at the Guwahati High Court, and he'll speak to us about the National Registrar of Citizens, which is in news of late. Mr. Wadud, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
If you can kindly explain what exactly is the National Registrar of Citizens?
So, National Register of Citizens, or NRC, is a list of Indian citizens. It is a register of Indian citizens.
Okay, and what is the history behind the NRC? How did it come into the picture?
So, the first NRC was prepared in the during the 1951 census. It was done in a very short period of time, and subsequently those records of the NRC were kept in the Deputy Commissioner office and subdivision office, and subsequently it was also transferred to the SP of district. But this list, because it was done in a very hasty manner, all districts do not have 1951 NRC. The present NRC is an updated versions of the 1951 NRC.
Okay, we have heard about the Assam Accord, and a lot of sacrifices were made for that accord when it was signed between the Government of India and the Government of Assam and the Students' Union. If you can kindly share your thoughts on the link between Assam Accord and the NRC.
So there was an agitation started in the 1979 against illegal migration from Bangladesh, and the agitation went on for 6 long years. And then on 15 August 1985, the representative of the Government of India and the representative of the student union leaders, the leaders of the movement, leader of the agitation, they signed a memorandum of settlement, which is Assam Accord. And according to that accord, it was agreed that illegal migrants who came to the state of Assam before midnight 24th March 1971 will be identified and deported to the native country. Subsequently, there were foreigners, IMDT tribunals were there. IMDT Act came in 1983. So there was a process of identifications of illegal migrants by the IMDT tribunal. Then in 2005, the IMDT Act was struck down by the Honorable Supreme Court, and all the cases in the IMDT tribunals were transferred to the Foreigners Tribunal. And these cases were adjudicated under the Foreigners Act 1946, which is a colonial act, and the Foreigners Tribunal Order 1964. Although there was no, the term NRC was not mentioned in the Assam Accord, but because there was a clause to identify, detect, delete and deport illegal migrants, 3D, which is called 3D. So there was no mention of the word NRC. But in 2003, a rule was prepared under Section 18 of the Citizenship Act, which is called the Citizenship Rule. It was brought in to prepare the NRIC, National Register of Indian Citizens, to issue National Identity Card. In the para 4A, which was added in 2009, which talks the manner in which NRC will be prepared in the state of Assam. According to that, the schedule was brought in about the preparation of NRC in the state of Assam. According to that, any person whose names is there in the 1951 NRC, their descendant, and any person whose names are there in the voter electoral roll till midnight 24th of March 1971, and their descendant, and other documents, stipulated documents like any government records, license, LIC, citizenship certificate, permanent residential certificate, passport, any of these documents issued before 24th March midnight 24th March 1971, they and their descendant will be there in the NRC. So, but here in the state of Assam, people will have to apply to get themselves included in the NRC. So there were 2 lists of documents, one pre-24th March 1971 document and another linking to those documents, list A and list B. for the descendant who do not have the name enrolled in any document before 1971, but if their parents' names are there, they can link them up with their parents and their names will be there in the NRC. So in brief, that is how NRC is being prepared in the state of Assam.
Okay. We have observed that the Supreme Court, of course, has played a very proactive role in monitoring the implementation process of the NRC. If you can kindly share your thoughts on the kind of the role the Supreme Court played in the NRC.
In 2009, a writ petition was filed before the Honorable Supreme Court by a NGO called Assam Public Works. In 2010, there was a pilot project in Chegao and Barpeta, but it was stopped for some violence in Barpeta. The Honorable Supreme Court in 2014 by judgment dated December 17 have set a time frame that within this time frame the NRC will be updated in the state of Assam. And initially the NRC was supposed to come in by the end of 2016, but subsequently, because it's a mammoth preparation, I mean 3.29 lakhs people applied to get their name and included in the NRC. So it took some time, and finally 31st July 2019 the final list came. So this process, the NRC process, was monitored by the Honorable Supreme Court. The state coordinator of the NRC used to report to the Honorable Supreme Court. The modalities were signed by the parties, relevant parties, and the central government. The Registrar General of India is the registrar of this NRC, and there was a state coordinator who is to report to the Supreme Court, but the implementation was done by the state government and its employees under the monitoring of the Honorable Supreme Court.
Okay. And what are the legal recourse available for people whose names are not mentioned in the NRC?
So those whose names are not there in the NRC according to the schedule, 2009 schedule, they can appear before the Foreigners Tribunal. They can appeal before the Foreigners Tribunal. Subsequently, the Foreigners Tribunal Amendment Order 2019 was brought in. According to that Amendment Order 2019, Foreigners Tribunal Amendment Order, a person whose name is not included in the NRC can appeal against the exclusion within 60 days. Subsequently, the Government of India increased that date to 120 days. So if a person's name is not there in the NRC, they can go and appeal before the Foreigners Tribunal within 120 days. But if a person whose cases are already pending before the Foreigners Tribunal, there are already 100 Foreigners Tribunal which is functioning in the state of Assam. If the case is pending before the Foreigners Tribunal, then they will not be able to go and appeal. The Deputy Commissioner will send them a reference. After that, they will have to go and appear before the Foreigners Tribunal and prove their citizenship. After that, if the Foreigners Tribunal think that this person is a citizen of India, then their name will come in the NRC.
Okay. You have worked, in representing a lot of people whose names have not been mentioned, in the NRC. Your experiences of defending them and sharing their stories.
So I am defending people who are accused of being illegal migrant. We need to understand that there is a parallel process going on since 1985. After the Assam Accord was signed. Earlier people used to, the border police used to accuse people of being illegal migrant. Those cases used to be sent to the tribunal. The tribunal used to send people accused notice, and they used to come and appear before the tribunal to prove their citizenship. From 1997, more than 3 lakh people were marked as doubtful voter by the Election Commission of India because they started this strict scrutiny of the voter list, and their cases were also sent to the SP border, Superintendent of Police border. Superintendent of Police border used to refer those cases to the Foreigners Tribunal, IMDT Tribunal, and then, like I said, the Sarbanndo Sonowal went to the Supreme Court challenging the IMDT Act because the burden of proof was on the state according to the IMDT Act, and then the Honorable Supreme Court struck down that act, and the Foreigners Tribunal Foreigners Act, where the burden of proof is on the accused, was implemented in the state of Assam. And then the Foreigners Tribunal started taking up cases. So there is a parallel process going on to identify so-called illegal migrants. So I am defending those people before the Foreigners Tribunal, and also in the High Court and the Supreme Court. So till now around 1.2 lakhs people have already been declared as foreigners. Today the government of India stated before the parliament that 145 people are in 6 detention centers across Assam. So till now I am not defending NRC excludes, because their cases has not started before the appeal process have not started yet. The people who have been excluded from the NRC will receive a rejection order from the designated NRC Seva Kendra, and they will have to go and challenge that rejection order in the form of appeal. So once that rejection order is issued, from then within 120 days they will have to go and appeal before the Foreigners Tribunal. So that process has not started yet, but like I said, there is a parallel process to identify so-called illegal migrants. So I am representing those peoples.
We have seen globally, there has been a rise of nationalism. Certain governments around the world have taken a very tough stand with regards to immigration, be it in the US and now be it in Europe. Do you see, in the global context, we are seeing violation of human rights vis-a-vis immigration?
See, Assam is a very peculiar, the problem of illegal migration is very peculiar. You will have to understand the history of Assam. There were a lot of migration from erstwhile Bengal and East Bengal. The migration started when the Britishers started coming here. So a lot of people from Bengal, the present day West Bengal, came with British here to work in the tea garden and also in their offices. Subsequently, there were migration from Bengal, the Bengali Muslims and Hindu peasants, who there was an inorganic migrations. I mean, it was not a forced migrations. So it started in the mid 19th century, and the migration was not against any natural boundary, because then even the concept of partitions has not started. We're talking about mid 19th century. Subsequently, after the partition of Bengal, for a period of 6-7 years, the East Bengal and Assam was under the same province. After partition of Bengal, the Britishers they encouraged a lot of migration from East Bengal to Assam under the present day Assam, under a project called Grow More Foods. So in 1931 census, the census commissioner said that more than 500,000 people have migrated to the present day state of Assam. There are accounts where historians have said that around 1 million people, the peasants who migrated from East Bengal, because in East Bengal, the cultivation land, it reached the limit of cultivations. So in search of barren land, they came, they flew, they sailed against the current of the river Brahmaputra, and they settled in the riverine areas, in the river islands, and started occupying these barren lands. But this is way before partition, independence, partition in 1947. These are the people mostly who are subsequently accused of being illegal migrant. After the partitions, when the Bangladesh war happened between East Pakistan and West Pakistan, then during those period, peoples who were harassed, who were persecuted in the name of religion, a few peoples came to the state of Assam. So they are also accused of being illegal migrant. But according to the Assam Accord, those who came before 25th midnight 24th March 1971 are Indian citizens. You talk about Europe and other countries where there is a process of assimilating the migrant, the refugees, the recent migrants. Here, people who are here since 100-150 years are accused of being illegal migrant because they speak the same language, because they profess the same religion. The Bengali Hindus mostly and Bengali Muslims, they are accused of being illegal migrant. Lot of people, like I said, currently according to the reply of the Home Minister today in the Parliament, that 1045 people are in detention center. Most of these people are declared foreigners by the Foreigners Tribunal. Now, in the detention center, they are detained to deport to the native country, the country of origin. The government of Assam have filed an affidavit with the Honorable Supreme Court in 2019 February, saying that they have deported only 4 declared foreigners, the people who have been declared foreigner by the IMD tribunal and subsequently by the Foreigners Tribunal. Now, to deport a person, and four people have been deported since 2013. In the last 6 years, only 4 people have been declared foreigner have been deported. But there are also convicted foreigners who illegally comes to Assam and convicted under IPC or Section 14 of the Foreigners Act, but not by the Foreigners Tribunal, by the other criminal courts. They are deported. In the same affidavit of 2019 February, the government of Assam says 162 convicted foreigners have been deported. Now, convicted foreigner claims that they came from Bangladesh. The declared foreigners who are accused of being illegal migrant by the border police and the election commission, they claim they are citizen of India. I, as a human rights lawyer, I who have dealt with these cases, scores of cases, I have all reason to believe that their claims are true, that they are Indian citizens, because people are being declared by foreigners either by ex parte order, according to a reply of the Ministry of Home Affairs in the Parliament. 64,000 people have been declared foreigner by ex parte order, right? So they didn't get a chance to defend their citizenship before the Foreigners Tribunal. Or people who appear before the foreigners, who contest the case, contest their citizenship and subsequently declared as foreigner, they are declared foreigner for reasons like variations in the name, variation in the ages, or certain facts not mentioned in the written statement. The written statement is the foundation of a case. If you do not mention your date of birth, if you do not mention your name of your grandparents or name of your siblings, you could be declared a foreigner. Now, you need to understand that most of these people who are accused of being illegal migrants are extremely poor. They cannot afford good legal representation. So that is also one reason why people are getting declared as foreigner despite having documents. Whatever cases, more than 150 cases I have dealt with in the last 5-6 years, I have not come across undocumented people. They have all relevant documents. It is about appreciation of documents, how documents are appreciated. Like I said, I am repeating it, that the people who are declared as foreigners are declared foreigners because of the minor variations in the name and ages. That does not mean that they have migrated from Bangladesh after 1971. People whose ancestors are here since 100 years or 60 years, 70 years before partition or before 1971 are being declared as foreigner. You cannot deport these people, right? That has created an environment of indefinite detention. If you are detained, you will be detained indefinitely in the detention center without any chance of getting released. The Honorable Supreme Court have said that people who have been detained for more than 3 years should be released. Now people are getting released who are detained since 2009, 2010 or more than 3 years, they are getting released. So that order of the Honorable Supreme Court had put a cap on indefinite detention. But I think that this 3 years is also not reasonable. When you do not have any chance of deporting people, I don't see any reason to deport these people. So there is a gross violation of human rights. The manner in which people are being declared foreigner by the Foreigners Tribunal, if this parameter is applied on every citizen of India, hardly any persons will be able to prove their citizenship, right? So in order to detect illegal migrants, lots of Indian citizens are losing their citizenship. Now these declared foreigners will never be accepted by Bangladesh, right? And they have already been declared foreigner by Indian courts. What will happen to them? They will become stateless. The United Nations commissions for refugees have a program called I Belong, which according to which by 2024 they want to stop statelessness. Now here is a process where in a mass scale people are being rendered stateless. So this entire process of detection of illegal migrants is rendering people stateless. They are being detained, and now, like I said, that there is a 3 years of detention, which I feel is a gross violation of inherent right under Article 21 of the Constitution of India, which is right to live with dignity. They are being stripped of right to live a dignified life.
What are the steps do you think the government can take in order to curb the human rights violations due to NRC?
Lots of 1.9 million people have been excluded from the NRC. If you go and check the documents, if you speak to them, in many cases parents are included in the NRC, children are out of NRC. Some siblings are, a part of the siblings are in the NRC, other siblings are out of NRC. There are families where entire family has been excluded, but most of these people that I came across have all relevant documents. The process of NRC to issue a national identity card or to segregate Indians from the foreigners is so harsh that it has the potential to exclude Indian citizens from the register, national register. So I believe that this entire process need to be implemented in a very fair and unbiased manner without any political interference. The kind of environment, political environment that has been created will not allow a free and fair NRC. And to issue national identity card or to prepare a citizen list of citizens, you cannot exclude genuine citizens from the list. That will be will not help the ultimate goal, because if you keep excluding citizens from the citizenship list, then their rights are being violated. They will be excluded from the list. If the foreigners tribunal tomorrow declare them as foreigners, then they will become stateless if the higher court do not set aside those orders. So in order to prepare national register of citizens, if genuine citizens is becoming stateless, I don't see why there should be a NRC. But you need to understand that in Assam, it has a different context. Everyone supported NRC because there was an environment against illegal migrants, and in the process, a lot of Indian citizens were being harassed, were being stigmatized, were being branded as foreigners. So even people who were victim of this NRC process, they also supported the NRC, so that there is a closure to this politicization of harassment in the name of illegal migrants, and people had faith because the Honorable Supreme Court was monitoring it. And I believe that today, if largely this entire process was fair, although the process was very harsh, I believe the NRC process was fair. And although a lot of Indian citizens have been excluded from the list, if there is a free and fair NRC, largely free and fair NRC, it is only because of the Honorable Supreme Court.
Lastly, in the debate, in the growing debate between protecting national security and ensuring free flow of human capital, that is free immigration, where do you see the future going, and how do we balance national security and also allowing genuine refugees into our country?
See, there is a narrative that has been created that the influx of illegal migrants is a threat to national security. That is what the Honorable Supreme Court says in the Sarabanda Sonowal judgment, and it says the Article 355 have been violated. There is an external aggression and internal disturbances. One of the reason that has been given for internal disturbance is that militancy in the northeast state started because of illegal migration issue, which is not factually true. The Honorable Supreme Court quoted the S.K. Sinha's report, which was it was not a fair report. It is a very prejudiced report. So without checking any fact, that based on that, the governor of Assam, Mr. S.K. Sinha, his report which says there is a large scale illegal migration, and a day will come when the part of the northeast will be severed from Assam. I don't think those statements were correct, and based on that statement, that report, it was held that there is a threat to national security. I would really like to know how many attacks were orchestrated by so-called illegal migrants. How many people have been convicted because of national security related cases, and how many people are actually illegal migrants. So I, as a human rights lawyers, I believe that if there were illegal migration, it was never a threat to national security, and the NRC process have actually busted the myth of illegal migration, because earlier there were some numbers were being quoted, like the Home Minister of India, Mr. Indrajit Gupta, in the state in the parliament, he said that there are 40 lakhs illegal migrants in the state of Assam. In 2004, Mr. Sri Prakash Jaiswal, who was the MOS Home, he said that there are 50 lakh illegal migrants in Assam. But subsequently that statement was retracted with a clarificatory note saying that this is not based on any sample in scientific data, but it was this number was taken from vested interested parties, and it's a hearsay number. But the Honorable Supreme Court have quoted these numbers to justify illegal migration and to justify threat to national security. But these numbers are not correct numbers, and the Honorable Supreme Court itself monitored the National Register of Citizens in the state of Assam, which have excluded only, and I repeat, only 1.9 million people. And if you see that most of these people are Indian citizens who have been excluded from the NRC. So I have these huge questions now, that where did those 40 millions or 4 millions or 5 million people go? So it was a narrative was created that there was a large scale illegal migration, and NRC process, the NRC final list have busted that myth of illegal migration.
Thank you, Mr. Wadud, for sharing your thoughts regarding NRC. That was indeed very, very insightful. Viewers, thank you for joining in.